Carjackings have been up considerably across the country, but in Illinois, in particular Chicago, has been rather wild to see those numbers increased considerably. Welcome back. It's Illinois in Focus Daily. I'm Greg Bishop. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell at America's Talking Network, and you'll be able to find this exclusively at a date certain only at America's Talking Network on YouTube. I, of course, focus on what's going on at the Illinois State House as associate editor for thecentersquare.com. So you can find regular reports from myself and my team at thecentersquare.com/Illinois. One of the stories you'll be able to find deals with this issue of carjackings and grant money that's being made available to law enforcement agencies across the state to handle carjackings and to possibly find some solutions and to address the criminality that there is. Illinois Secretary of State Alexi Giannoulias yesterday held a news conference announcing $11 million in grants for helping to fight the carjacking epidemic across the state. So here's some of the Secretary of State laying out what exactly is the major issue impacting a lot more people than should be.
Far too many Illinoisans have had to face the shock of walking to an empty driveway or parking space on the street and seeing one of their most valuable possessions gone forever. For many of us, our vehicles serve as a lifeline. We depend on it for work, running errands, shuttling our kids around to practices and camps, and visiting loved ones. So to have it stolen can have terrible consequences for families and upend their lives. Unfortunately, the headlines tell the story. In recent years, an alarming number of Illinoisans have been impacted by vehicle thefts and carjackings. In 2022, the most recent vehicle theft data that we have, there were 38,649 thefts statewide.
It's quite a number, and when you look at just Chicago specifically, some of the statistics that Chicago police publish, you can see here that carjackings, in particular motor vehicle theft, maybe down 17% in the last 7 days, but over the past 4 years, it's gone up 165% in the last 3 years. 174% just in the last 2 years, 78%, and the numbers are rather large when you look at that specific category of crime. More from the Secretary of State on who's going to be tapping into these $11 million in grants from the Secretary of State's office.
The Illinois State Police, which will receive more than $675,000. The Chicago Police Department, which will get more than $1.4 million. The Tri-County Auto Theft Task Force, based in Joliet, which will receive $2.3 million. And the Illinois Statewide Auto Theft Task Force, which was approved for more than $3.3 million. Again, I want to thank the Council for their hard work in reviewing grant applications that will help increase manpower, tools, and strategies to combat carjacking and motor vehicle theft. We owe it to our public safety officers to make sure they have the technology, tools, and training they need to do their job safely and effectively. I have a few more parts of this speech, but I again want to thank the members of law enforcement that are here today.
So clearly a lot of dollars going out. We'll hear about where those dollars are actually coming from, and if this is the equivalent of what was sent out in this particular grant to help combat carjackings from last year. But more from law enforcement's take. Here is Illinois State Police Director Brendan Kelly talking about some of the statistics and also some of the tactics.
That's in addition to the 32% drop in statewide interstate shootings in 2023 over the previous year. We also saw a 27% increase in the recovery of stolen and hijacked vehicles statewide in 2023 compared to 2022. Using technologies such as LPRs, air operations, canines, and partnerships with other law enforcement agencies, the Expressway Safety Enforcement Group has provided a roadmap for statewide vehicular hijacking and other related violent crime initiatives.
So he mentions the license plate reader technology being utilized to help combat carjackings and car thefts. Well, that LPR system across the states being challenged in federal court, something we'll be tracking for you with the Liberty Justice Center suing, calling it a dragnet, saying it's a violation of individuals' constitutional rights to essentially be monitored using these types of license plate reading cameras that can pretty much just pinpoint exactly where you're at all the time whenever you're driving around. So regardless, Illinois State Police Director Brendan Kelly talking about combating car thefts. But back to the Secretary of State, he was taking questions and acknowledged that the $11 million being let this year, smaller than the amounts from last year.
Yes, last year it was closer to $30 million. Is that correct? Closer to $30 million because there was a one-time transfer from the General Assembly due to the rise of carjackings. Again, the funding from this comes from a $1 per insurance policy that insurance companies get, and we collect for this initiative. The goal is to get closer to that 30 number than to the 11 number we're at this year.
Is it going to be only 11 million?
We don't want to say only because we're grateful, but yes, 11 million.
So that's, again, how much is being let this year compared to last year with $30 million. And that was because of the incredible increase in the number of carjackings. But more from the Secretary of State, Alexi Giannoulias, yesterday about other types of strategies and tactics that could be implemented here to go up against the carjacking threat, including lawsuits.
We want to be very careful because there are lawsuits going on. There are certain vehicles that are stolen more than others. That's not an opinion. Those are facts. Car manufacturers are invested in making sure it's more and more difficult for vehicles to be stolen. We've worked with some car companies in the Secretary of State's office that do an outstanding job of doing that, some that are catching up. There are lawsuits pending in Illinois and across the country. I hope they get resolved, but they absolutely have a vested interest, as do the insurance companies, the car insurance companies in Illinois and throughout the country, which is why I think we have 1 or 2 members on the board.
So again, a board helping oversee all of this, and something that the Secretary of State's highlighting yesterday about more tax dollars. And, I mean, they're dollars from a insurance broker per policy. They have to pay $1 on that. I mean, that's essentially a tax, right? So that money going to this fund that's going to be used to help combat carjackings. How your tax dollars are being used. Find more at thecentersquare.com. It is Illinois in Focus daily with the Center Square and America's Talking Network. I'm Greg Bishop. Thanks for being with us each and every weekday morning. Like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. All right, make it happen.